Hello, Our Lady. Welcome to tonight's show. I am lucky to be joined by Miss Terry Day and Miss Hannah Day. If you are familiar at all with Our Lady, these should be familiar faces to you, but if not, use today's opportunity in this interview to get to know them a little bit better. So, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank
What's it been
you.
like? What's it been like at home? How are you guys doing?
Not pretty good. It's a little crazy. Hannah's working on. It seems like at IUS and even Joseph Bellarmine that they've given them almost double or triple what they would normally do if they were in class at their yes, yeah,
Oh,
crazy. So then it's like they're on their iPads or their laptops, and then Abby and I are go back and forth. We're trying to do stuff, so we've kind of had to with our time. Like, okay, Hannah Joe, you work on yours, I'll work on mine later. So it's been a little crazy. The internet's been kind of shut
yeah,
down. So yeah, so we're working it out though.
good. Hannah, are they having for you any type of finals or anything like that, or how's that going to work?
A bunch of final papers and that are due.
Okay. So you don't have an exam to take or anything like that for any of your classes at the end?
I had one for psychology, and I already got that done and out of the way.
Good, good. Yeah, I don't miss those days, but
Yeah.
especially in this environment, I can't imagine. But anyway, Miss Day, am I correct? This is year 34 at Arley?
Yes, I'll be finishing my 34th year. Yes.
Wow. What do you feel like have been the biggest changes over that time period since when you started Our Lady till now? And also maybe what hasn't changed?
I think, well, basically, to me, I think the little ones, they're just the same. They just want that. It's that love of learning, and it's like they get excited about just about anything. We're going to do math. We're going to work on, three-dimensional shapes or whatever we're going to work on, and they're just like, whoa! They're always excited, which makes me, I'm excited about it, but it makes me even more excited too. I think
Sure.
the biggest thing is probably more technology, because back then we still had the old like when I was taught the old slate like chalkboards and all like that, so I was used to all that. So then when they started the Interwrite boards, at first I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. So my big thing's been technology, and even more so since we've been home. Hannah's been helping me, and just different things like that. I said I think I've learned more about technology through all of this than I have over the years. Or I notice different times I'll be like trying to pull stuff on the Interwrite board, and even my first graders be like, Miss Day, no, you need to push this button, or you need to do this. But the kids, just like I said, it's always just that love of learning. I think kids have changed over the years, but I think it's just like with the little ones, they're just so eager to learn, and just like little sponges, and just so. But I think technology has been the biggest thing that's changed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Have you always been first grade?
Always been first grade. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. One, to be somewhere at one place for 34 years and not
Right.
ever have to have the same class during that whole time period. That's probably pretty rare.
It is awesome. And that's the grade I always wanted to teach. When I did my student teaching, I did it at Fairmont, and because they wouldn't let's go in the Catholic schools. I wanted to do it at Our Lady because that's where, I attended Our Lady and then on to Providence and that, but they said no, it had to be in one of the public schools. So it was just like right around the corner where my mom and dad, well, my dad still lives there, but, and went to Fairmont. And then I had she had taught like 30 some odd years. Her name was Miss Frizzell, and she was just awesome. And after that, because at first I thought, well, maybe second or third. But then when I taught first or did my student teaching with her, I thought this is where I want to be. So,
Yeah.
so it was awesome that Sister Sharon Marie, I had given Peggy Snook a maternity leave, and then the other first grade teacher was going to have her baby in July, and she was going to stay home. She said, I want to have more children. I'm just going to stay home. I'll teach later once my kids are grown. And so then after that, whatever, Sister Sharon Marie came to me. She says, I've come in, I observed you. She said, I know you want to teach first grade. If you still want to do that, the job's yours. So that's how I got my job at Our Lady. So been there ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
One thing that I've been impressed with you in the short time that I've been together is I think it would be very easy for you or someone like you who's been in this position for a long time to more or less just have your script of I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. But I don't get that sense at all from you. When I've been in your room and just doing it, whether it's an observation or just walking by, the energy level is amazing. Is it hard to bring that every day, or is that something you get from the kids? How does that work?
I think it's more so. I mean, I've always been like that anyway. But
Yeah.
I think the kids bring that energy. You can tell when they come in the morning and they just come in the room. Sometimes they have more energy than other days, but it's just that energy from them, and just I just want to keep that up with them throughout just through the whole day, and just and they're so much fun anyway. And like I said, they just love anything you do, whether it's reading, math, social studies. They're just so, and then like I said, that brings my energy level up too. So yes.
One thing I've been asking teachers about is how they communicate with other staff members. And so in your case, let's look at it from two perspectives. I know you probably rely on the kindergarten teachers a lot to kind of give you some background as to what you're getting, probably especially early in the year as you're getting to know the kids. You probably communicate with them some. And then if you could talk a little about that, and possibly towards the end of the year, what you feel like you need to give second grade teachers, what kind of communication takes place with them as they're about to become second graders?
We talk with Brandy and Carrie Beth throughout the whole year. Yeah. And if even throughout the year, if I notice somebody might be struggling or something like that, I'll go to them and I'll say, okay, I'm trying this. What works for you with this student or whoever it is, or what worked, did something work better or that. But we are always in constant communication. And like I said, at the very beginning of the year, they'll come and we'll talk to both Abby and I'll talk to them and all. And then we kind of do the same thing with second grade too. We want them, to be prepared, but we'll also say, and just talk to them about things that we're working on and what we've gotten through, like just with our math too. Usually it just hits money a little bit. So Abby and I kind of go even more into with the money and that, so that they're prepared when they get into second grade. They're ready to go with Christine and Melissa this year. They're ready to go with them, but not just the academic part, but also me too. And I know with Abby too is the spiritual part, getting them ready for this All Saints Day and learning about the saints, but also learning about stories about Mary and Jesus and Joseph, but also parts of the Mass. And I feel, and I get their sacraments, and I know Abby does too, and really say, next year it'll be Sacrament of Reconciliation and your Sacrament of First Holy Communion, and kind of bring that into too, so that they're prepared and kind of know what Christine and Melissa are going to do to help them with that and all too. But like I said, not just the academic part and social part, but also with the spiritual part too, because that's the part of our school. And also
speaking of that, with the All Saints Day and the Wax Museum that you guys do, how long, where did that idea come from? How long have you been doing that?
Probably 20 or more, maybe 25 years. We started it with first and second the 1 year, and then after that, second grade, we're we're doing reconciliation, First Communion, and that. And so we just continued. It was it was when I was teaching with Brandy Sherrill, and and then also with Terry White, and we just continued. And it's basically, it's kind of become a tradition. And it's really neat. We used to go around to the classrooms, and the kids would they would say, I'm Saint, I'm always Saint Teresa, but they would tell what their saint was. And we would go around to each of the classrooms. And then I think it was Heather Jones that started with the fourth grade when they did the Wax Museum. And then when I was with Abby and all like that, we're you know what, let's do the Wax Museum. So we went to them, we said, are you guys okay if we do this? And they're like, sure. So we started that. But it's such a learning experience, not just for our little ones, but also the older kids too, because then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I was that saint when I was in first grade. So, but I would say maybe 25 years, or, it's been a while. So it's become a tradition, but like I said, it's a great learning experience for the kids.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen it, it's really cool. They go down to Wagner Hall and they're dressed up, and they've got their little button, and they're supposed to stand still. So someone walks up and we hit the button, and it brings them to life, and they become that person. I've enjoyed that quite a bit, just listening to the kids, really try to explain who they are and what they did in their life
Yeah.
and why they're a saint. It's a great thing.
Yes.
And then Abby touched on a little bit in her interview how you guys have your Christmas Eve Mass and the
Yes.
that was my first time seeing it this year, and I'll have one in it next year. So, what I was impressed with that, and I don't know how much you guys coach them on it, but that could be intimidating for a first grader to walk into a packed church, walk up to the front, and basically perform. So, how do you guys get them to overcome that if they have some hesitancy there?
We practice and practice and practice. But we tell them throughout the thing how important this is. And we say, that this is what we're doing, guys, is, this is about the nativity. We're telling the story about Jesus and when Jesus was born and Mary and Joseph, but we also tell them too, and we keep telling them throughout the thing, because as we're practicing, they'll try to look at each other across the aisles. We'll say, you have to look straight ahead. And we keep telling them, we said on Christmas Eve, it is totally packed. So we said, you won't be able to see your friend in one of the other aisles. So, and then we tell them we get up there, kind of find out. And when they bring their kids, like 20, 30 before Mass starts, we'll say, go upstairs with your mom and dad, find out where your mom and dad are sitting, and kind of zone into mom and dad or somebody that they know. And we tell them too, we said in the back, we'll be in the back, but then as you could tell, we came up and come around in front. We said, we'll be there right there with you throughout the whole thing. But you can tell on Christmas Eve, on dress rehearsal, there's still, there it is. There's a lot of people there, but then on Christmas Eve, you can tell Abby and I, it's like their little eyes are just like these little, it's like, they're like, oh my gosh, they were telling us the truth. So, and then then once we're up there with them, we're like, once the little drummer boy comes up, we'll be there with you guys. And, we're there with them through the whole thing. And then they're like, what do we give for our parents? It's like, it's okay. We have our seat. Just come with us. But it started probably 40 some odd years ago with Sister Agnes is the one that originally started it. And it's something else that's become a tradition. And we have people that come and say, this is our Christmas. This makes it, these little ones, representing the nativity, the live nativity. They're just like, we come every year. And it's people that don't even live around here. I mean, it's a lot of the parishioners and people like that, but it's like this lady came up this year and she's like, I come every year. This makes my Christmas. This is my Christmas right here, seeing the little ones. So she's come like quite a few years. So it's really neat, so.
Yeah, it was impressive. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And just honestly, the fact that you can get all the class there on Christmas Eve. It's such a busy time, but they make it a priority to participate, and it's really a special thing. You've not seen it.
Caitlin does such an awesome job with the older kids that are in the choir. That just blows my mind too when they're singing for our kids, and it's just kind of a whole thing there, isn't it?
One thing that, and then Hannah can chime in here, or you can maybe talk about Hannah if you want. What we try to do, and sometimes it gets a little crazy and all, but in our early primary grades, is we try to make sure that you guys have a little help. So if you wouldn't mind speaking a little bit about some of our assistants and what their role is in the classroom and how they help you out and how they can pull kids out for some more extra attention, whatever the case may be.
Oh my goodness, we have Kelly Conrad and Jen Williams, and they are both just the awesome, phenomenal. And we have them, we share them with the second grade teachers, but they're fantastic. And they do whatever we ask them to do. They help us with our guided reading. They come in for that hour and a half with the guided reading. And then they also help, they would come to Abby's class, my class, from 8 to 8:30 in the mornings. And any of our kids that maybe needed to be retested on something or needed extra help with reading or math or whatever it was, they would pull them. But we can ask them or have them take over anytime. They basically know, oh, okay, I'll do that for you. So, and then sometimes, when Kelly would come in, it was on Wednesday, different times, something like that or whatever, later in the afternoon. Sometimes I would not only use some of the kids that might be struggling, but also kids that I wanted to be challenged more, maybe with spelling or something like that. So I would find some kind of a game or something for them to work on too. And they loved it. She'd be like, oh, okay, who am I going to choose now? And she would take, 3 or 4 out at a time. She said, I'll keep it for a few minutes and then I'll sit back to another group. So we were trying to do it so that everybody in the whole class had a chance to go work with them, no matter what their level or anything like that. So, but yes,
Hannah?
and Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah sometimes is kind of your unofficial helper. She kind of, hangs out in the morning, and if you need something, until I have to come grab her and say, hey, so Hannah, this might be a difficult question because you do a lot of different things, but try to explain a little bit of what your role is at Our Lady.
Well, with third and fourth as a teacher assistant, I know the different teachers have me pull the kids with IEPs or help them with homework if they're struggling, especially during study hall. I'll pull some of the fourth graders and help them work on homework that they might not understand, or like Mrs. Faree will have me kind of reteach it to them if they're really struggling with it. And then I know I sub sometimes if you all need me.
Yeah, Hannah typically will get a text, or I'll find her and be like, I need you to do music for 2 hours. And to Hannah's credit, she's like, okay, she never says no. Yeah.
We get ready in the morning. She'll be like, "Oh, Mr. Bond just texted me. Like, I've got a sub for so and so." I was like, "That's."
I know. It's we got to fill in where we can, but you do a great job of doing that. And then you also help out in aftercare. How long have you been doing that?
It was 5 years this past November. I started my junior year at Providence, and then I've worked ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, around Christmas time. Yeah, one of the ladies that was there had another job or something.
Yeah.
And then Mrs. Bennett, Marianne Bennett, asked.
Yeah, she asked me if I would like a job to work there. And I was
And
like,
she
sure.
had seen Hannah do it before, wasn't it, with your service hours from Providence?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and she's like, and I said, "Oh, Hannah will do that for you." And she was like, "No, we actually want her to work where we will pay her."
Even better. Yeah.
Hannah's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. But yeah, you sub for us, you do aftercare, you help out in the cafeteria. I mean, Hannah does just a little bit of everything. And, if I asked her what a typical day is like, she probably couldn't answer me because every day is a little bit different. So Hannah, tell the folks a little bit about, you are in school to become a teacher. How far along are you? What's next on the horizon for you?
The next thing, I just finished block 1, so I'm going into block 2 in the School of Education, and then I'll probably have about a year left after that. So,
do you know what grade you want to teach?
Either 3rd or 4th grade. I thought 1st grade for a while, and then when I got moved up to work with Mr. Stemley at one point, I was like, oh, well, I like this better. And then the next year I was put with 3rd and 4th grade, and I was like, I either want to teach 3rd or 4th.
Yeah. Okay.
She was like, "Not to hurt your feelings, Mom."
Terry, if you wouldn't mind, I mean, everybody has been in just a weird situation, obviously, the past 5-6 weeks. Same question I gave Abby last night. What have you been trying to do to keep that connection with your first graders? I know it's not easy, but I know everybody's trying to do little things to try to keep that going. What have you been trying to do during our e-learning period?
Well, we did like, I think we did the same day as the kindergarten teachers of not past Saturday, but the Saturday before that. And we went up to all their houses, had some candy, and like that. It was great seeing the kids. And we've just been I've been sending my kids throughout the time too, just like little cards or little notes just to keep in touch with them. We've been doing the Google Meets. So I'm going to meet with my kiddos again this week or whatever. The first time I did it was a little crazy, so I was kind of learning curve. And then one of the moms says, "Terry, have so many of them that you can talk to, three of them." So just little things like that, or like little notes, or like we have our kids send us like their work and all like that, either on Google Classroom or Remind. We have a Remind app on our phone. So when they say, so-and-so's here, I'll say like, "Good morning" or "Happy Monday," but just keep trying to keep in touch with them. And I, tell the parents too, I'm like, if you feel like you need to call me, text me, anything, just, to try to keep in touch with the little ones. But like I said, I've been trying to send little cards. I sent like a little Easter card to their family, but then I bought some other cards the other day at Target just to try to stay in touch with them there. And just keep telling them how much I miss them. I mean, because I do, I know Carrie Beth got emotional, so I'm trying not to, but it is. It's so hard. It's hard. because you get so attached to them, and it's just, but their parents are funny. They've been sending me pictures and that. And the other day, Mason Denman, his mom said, "Is it okay if he calls you?" He had a secret, so he ended up they were getting a new puppy or whatever. So, but it was so cool just to talk to him just on the phone, just to talk on the phone. He said, "My mom taught me how to do it, and we're going to get my dad." He was going on and on, but it was so neat just to talk to him and find out what he's been doing and all. So that's how we're trying to stay in touch. So,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
Hannah sometimes they'll be like, "Where's Hannah?" And then Hannah will come.
Well, that's been one thing I've not had to worry about at all, because I know you guys are all doing everything you can to keep those connections and reach out, and just like you said, just simple as talking on the phone with the kid, can go
Yeah.
a long way, and it's just as good for you guys as it is the child. I mean,
Right.
I know that.
Yeah. That just, when he called or whatever, I said, and I told his mom later, I said, that just made my day, because it was a rainy Saturday, because we've been getting out walking like 2 or 3 miles a day. Haven't we been doing that? Or like Hannah and Joe ride their bikes while I'm walking and that too. So I was running with you in spirit.
Good for you. Good for you. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you one more question. Do you remember your first day at Our Lady? Your first teaching day?
34 years ago. Well,
Yeah.
What happened to me that year, it was not only my first day of school, I was so nervous. And Peggy Cook was my partner, first grade. She was my partner teacher that year, but we had Robin Hammond and a lot of them that have retired there, and they were always so good. But my first day, I found out like maybe a week before we started school, because we didn't start till like the end of August, that the Courier Journal wanted to do an article on a first year teacher.
Oh.
And I don't know who, went about doing that. So they called, because I was working at Kroger at that time. I worked at Kroger plus going to school and that, and called, and one of the ladies in the office says, "This person from the Courier Journal wants to talk to you." So not only was it my first day, and I was so nervous, and I was like Abby, I had everything all written out, like, I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to say and all. But then I also had a photographer that was following me around. And then there was also a lady that was like writing the article. So for that first day plus that whole week, no matter where I went and the kids went, they were like, they're following me. So not only was
That sounds terrible.
So I was like, phew, made it through.
I can't imagine being your first day as a teacher and having
Yes,
two people
yes.
fall. Wow.
Yeah. And then like if I would go to the teacher's lounge, which is like the resource room now, that was our teacher's lounge then, would go there just to get, like, they had like a soft drink machine. So just to take rest, then they would come in. Well, now, what are you going to do now? I mean, they just, wherever we went, like I went to lunch with the other teachers. Well, now we got these questions. I mean, it was crazy, but
Whoa.
So,
Whoa. Yeah. Well, if you can survive that,
yeah.
34 years is nothing compared to that first week.
Yeah. A little bit.
All right. All right, so as I do this, I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to make both of you answer. So I don't care who goes first, but you both got to give me an answer. And I got some new ones thrown in here today, okay?
Oh, great. No.
All right. Favorite school lunch at Our Lady is?
I like brown cheese pizza, I guess.
Brown cheese pizza.
Yeah,
Miss Day?
I like Domino's cheese pizza, yes.
Okay.
Domino's cheese pizza, yeah.
Either one of you have nicknames? Had one growing up, have one now?
My mom always called me Princess. She always called me that when I was younger. But I had a neighbor, he called me like Terry Boo Boo. I was called TC or like Top Cat. So, and then later on in Providence when I played, I played volleyball, basketball, and softball at Providence 2 years ago. Johnny Zip was my coach for all those. But a lot of them would call me like Hot Dog. And they were like, "You're just like that." So I don't know how that started, but it's just, And then some of them just Blondie or things like when I worked at Kroger, that people would say, yeah,
Mine is Tallulah, Boo Boo, and then my grandma just a few years ago started calling me Princess too. So,
Okay, that's nice.
yeah.
And then Mr. H had a nickname for me, which was Red. And I never
Red?
really never
He
understood.
started that when she first started kindergarten over at Our Lady. He did, and he said Little Red's what he called you at first, and then after that, yeah.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas is mine, and then I love it because of the children's Christmas Eve mass. But also, we have Bruce's side of the family, and then my side of the family. We have Bruce's side of the family like around noon, and have everybody here, and then Hannah and Joe and myself leave, and to come to the Christmas Eve mass, and then after that's over with, then we have all of my family here Christmas Eve. And my mom and dad and their moms and dads that started that years ago. It's like a Christmas Eve tradition. So then when we got a house big enough so we could have everybody too, I said, Mom and Dad, I said, can we? And Mom's like, yes. So I said, is there anything you want? My mom and dad, which is a tradition from long ago, and I don't know where they came from either. They always did rolled oysters, fried oysters. So they would roll the oysters. So that was one of the things that we had when we started having everybody. I said, Mom and Dad, is there something you want? And they both looked at me. They said, would you do the rolled oysters, you kids? So Hannah and I'd get up early in the morning and roll oysters and that so that they're ready for that evening. But yeah, but it's cool to have everybody. To have both sides of the family to say, on Christmas Eve. But mine's Christmas Eve. How about you?
I would say Christmas also because I get to hang out with cousins.
Yeah. A big family to hang out with too.
Yeah, both sides. Bruce is a family, and we do too. So yes.
All right. Next question. Have you ever received a speeding ticket?
No.
Well,
No comment.
I had been in Jazzercise, and I had come back Great Line Road, and it was like where the Walmart and that is now. And yeah, I'm not going to say who the policeman is because he's retired. But yes, and by the time Bruce, I think it was the first after we had been married that year. We got married in '97. It was that summer or whatever, and he was working, and I was like, called him, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Oh," I was crying on the phone. That's the first one I ever got. That's the last one. I've never had another since. So watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Watch out. Best place you've ever traveled to?
Best place, back in the 80s. Well, it was the year before I started teaching, and went with some friends, and we went on a cruise to Hawaii. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. So I said, if I can ever get back there, I want to go back to Hawaii. But it loved the beaches, like in Florida and that too. But yeah, Hawaii is the best place I'd ever traveled.
I haven't traveled many places, but Gatlinburg is the best so far because we've gone down there a lot. And one of the times we went for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary, and we all went on a hike one day, and that was probably the best.
It was cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody. It was a lot. Yeah. We had a huge chalet, didn't we? Yeah. So that was cool.
All right. Favorite junk food?
Favorite junk food? I love the Reese's peanut butter eggs. That's like I always loved Snickers, but I love it like during Easter, and now they do them at like Christmas time and Halloween and everything else. But I love the Reese's peanut butter eggs. So, and we're gonna try to make Abby's dessert too. I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
My favorite is bottle cap candy. They're supposed to taste like different sodas. So there's like cherry, orange, Coca-Cola, root beer, and grape. So
yeah, okay. Haven't had that in a long time. On a school night, what time do you go to bed?
Like
Typically.
that.
Well, normal. How about normal school?
On a normal one, I try to get in bed by 10 o'clock. So yeah, and usually by the time, because I usually get up by like 4 till 5 o'clock or whatever. Since we're over here in Louisville, and it takes us about 20-25 minutes to get there. So, but I usually try to get by 10 o'clock on a regular school night. Now, since all this happened, it's been a little different. So.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
How about you, Hannah? Stay up later?
between 11 and 11:30. It just depends.
Yeah.
I think you answered my next one. The next question was, what time do you get up? So you get up a little bit before 5?
I do, yes, yeah. Now Hannah's what, a little bit before 6 or so, yeah. So she, but yes, I do. So anyway, takes me a little longer to get ready.
All right, last one, easy one. Miss Day, what is your middle name?
Middle name Lynn. It's Teresa Lynn. Well, it was Teresa Lynn. And see, people used to call me TLC too. So
Okay, another nickname. Hannah?
Nicole.
Cool. All right. Well, you guys did awesome. Thanks for taking some time and talking with me today.
Thank you. That was fun.
It was fun. It's good to see you all. Don't get to see people very often, but even if it's just this, it's nice to see that you're doing well. Stay safe.
Yes,
And, I know you're thinking of our kids and doing everything you can. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.